It might be good to reflect on the words of Sir Bernard Shaw, who said, apparently, I marvel that society would pay a surgeon a large amount of money to amputate a leg, but spend very little to save it. All right, I want to talk to you tonight of Bemer in the world of diabetes. Diabetes 2, or diabetes mellitus as it is also known, hence the abbreviation DM, has been growing in extent and in misery from about 350 million people worldwide to it's being guessed to about 500 million by 2030. That's only 15 years to go. And during 2012, 63,000 people died of the consequences of. So it's quite a serious ailment. And 40 to 60% of lower limb amputations are actually due to this diabetes too. But what we need about diabetes, and I'm talking as a complete non-medical person, of course, is education and awareness, prevention and motivation, and simple but consistent care, and managing this diabetes consistently. So how can the Bemer help in all this? Well, quantifiably, repeatedly, and consistently, it improves the blood circulation. People, that is the one thing the Bemer does excellently, and it has been proven, it has been verified, this experiment can be done over and over and over, and we will always get the same result. So the Bemer therapy represents a real breakthrough in the understanding today of effective vascular functioning. And the Bemer physical vascular therapy produces certain effects. The effect, by the way, is not healing anything. The effect is at the microcirculation, which is 3/4 of the blood vessels, remember? And it makes sense because it follows the improved blood circulation and the improved oxygen extraction and the improved nutrients getting to the cells. That is when these little generators produce more ATP. And to come back to the diabetes quickly, here is a diabetic foot, a diabetic leg, where you can see the vertical axis is actually this dilation of the small blood vessels and the contraction. So that should be a wiggly line, but it is flat. And it really means that there is hardly any blood flow in the microcirculation. After a couple of Bemer treatments, after 1 month, there is a start of a squiggly line of the diameter changes over time. You see, the bottom is in seconds, and D stands for diameter of the artery in micrometers. So we're talking here at about 20 thousandths of a millimeter, and the variation, how this varies over time. And look what it looks like. The wound is much better. Now we have another month, and look at that. We have proper vasomotion. And that is all the Bemer does. And once the body has the proper vasomotion, many of these diabetic wounds will heal faster. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that is understandable what I'm saying. And remember, I'm saying it as a non-medical person. I observe the physics, and I have a photo, and I can compare the two. And in case you think this is just the best photo we got hundreds of these, hundreds. Some of them look much worse, like a diabetic foot, for example. I mean, in this conference, I've seen pictures that you wouldn't want to see ever, especially not on yourself or on your loved ones. But here's a diabetic foot with a gangrenous toe that was going to be amputated. And in the end, they did do it. But look how the feet looked. Here's a lady bedridden with also an ulcer at the bottom of her foot. And it took a long time. But you know, if in a hospital, after 2 years of conventional therapy in a hospital, they cannot get rid of it, And the Bemer goes from that picture to the next picture in 6 months, and 2 months later to that, and just 1 month later to that. That is remarkable because they had 2 years' time to fix it. It didn't work. And then something as simple as the Bemer comes along, and suddenly it only took 9 months instead of 24. It might be good to reflect on the words of Sir Bernard Shaw, who said, apparently, I marvel that society would pay a surgeon a large amount of money to amputate a leg, but spend very little to save it.